Hello, everyone. I wanted to just speak briefly today. With Thanksgiving right around the corner, right there tomorrow, I thought it would be really important to just talk for a little bit about marriage and the holidays. I mean, I absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. I know that you're part of this group because you want one thing. You're here because you love your family. You want to have a marriage that feels amazing, feels secure, feels connecting, and basically you want a marriage that really thrives. And I the reason why I appreciate you is because you're looking for that answer. You're looking for the way to make that happen. And that tells me that each and every one of you are the kind of people that can really make it work because you're the go-getters. You're the people that really make things happen. Now, like I said, with the holidays right around the corner, especially with them being about family, about coming together, about feeling safe and secure. I mean, what better time than to talk about marriage and what it means to you and to the holidays. And I know for me personally, I absolutely love this time of year. It's a chance for me to connect with my wife, to connect with my parents and siblings, people that I hold very, very dearly to me. Um, and that's, you know, I can't imagine what it would be like to to feel like that isn't there for me, that I'm unsure of whether I can make that connection with these people that I love. And so I wanted to give some thought into what do you do? What do you do if that security, if that comfort, if that connection isn't there around these times that's exactly what we're looking for. Whether that expectation comes from your own history, your own experiences as a child, or whether that's just something you really long for. I want you all to have that in your holiday experiences. And so I want to ask you, if you're struggling there, if you're struggling to make that connection, to have that comfort with your spouse or with your family around the holidays, um, I want to ask you some questions to help you get where you want to be there. So first off, I want to ask you, okay, what is it that you really want, from the holidays and from your family in this situation? Because sometimes we go into this kind of with a sense that what was with wanting something but not really being sure of what that is. A lot of times what causes problems, especially during the holidays, are these expectations that come out and then the expectations not being met. So if someone expects to have that connection, to have that warmth, to have that comfort, and then it doesn't get met, it creates some real disappointment. So I want to ask you, what is it that you really want from your family, from your friends, from your spouse on these important days? The next question I want to ask you is, what changes can you make personally to help make that more of a possibility? So if you are wanting that connection, even if that connection is somewhat there, but you're wanting more of that connection, what can you do to change personally to ensure that that happens? I find that in situations when we're having some lack or where we are wanting something and it's not happening, sometimes people get into the mindset of, okay, what can other people do to make that happen for me? I ran into someone a number of years ago, and this was just after Thanksgiving, and they were telling me how they had wanted such a great time together with the family, and they had wanted that connection and warmth that I was just talking about. And when it didn't happen, they felt so disappointed. And I asked this person, okay, what did they do to make sure that they had that connection, that warmth, all those things that they wanted? And they told me, oh, okay, well, the ball was in my husband's court. I couldn't really do anything. He needed, in order for me to feel connected, he needed to be there. And that's when I gently and lovingly corrected her on that. I told her, if that's what you really wanted, there's things that you can change about yourself. There are things that you can change to make that happen. Without knowing any specific situation of what you're going through, my number one tip for this about what you can change personally is, if you're wanting that connection, if you're wanting that warmth, if you're wanting that happy family time, assume as if it's already there. Act as if you and your spouse are really connected, are really warm, are really loving together. And what would you do if that situation were true? And you'd be surprised at how a mildly distant spouse can really warm up when you really put on the charm and put on that warmth and care and attention to them. So I want to ask you again, what changes can you make personally to make sure that you get what you want from your holidays? And as long as you're focusing on that end goal, that end result of what you want, instead of the means to get there, I think it'll make it a lot easier. The last question I want to ask is, what do you think your spouse, kids, family, what do you think that they need from the holidays? I can remember as a child, and I know one or two of my siblings might even be in this group, and they might even be watching this, but I remember as a child, I came from a big family. And I think this was mostly because I would stay up late on Christmas, and I'd get up super early because I was really excited. But I remember feeling one Christmas as if no one really had paid attention to me. Like I said, there was a large family, but recognizing now, my parents are wonderful. They're loving, caring individuals, but the lack of sleep that I had in those situations, I felt like no one really paid attention to me on this day when I wanted that connection. And so I'd like you to think about, okay, what do these people in your life need? In that I remember that Christmas, having that feeling and going upstairs to my room. I think I was very young at that time, and I remember crying because I felt like Christmas was ruined. And I remember someone from my family came up and checked in on me and made sure I was feeling better, and that little bit of attention really made a big difference that day. So when we're looking for that connection, when we're looking for that warmth, yes, there's things that we can do to get that for ourselves, but it's also, if we want that connection and warmth and security and family, for lack of a better word, just great holiday experience, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some consideration of what other people are looking for and what they're needing on those special days. And if you can meet those expectations, meet those needs, it makes it all the more meaningful for them. At times, you might know your spouse or your family really well. You can just assume what it is that they want or need. Sometimes, though, it might take a direct discussion, a direct addressing, asking people, what is it that they want from that day? And I'll tell you, it's much better to talk about it and know exactly what they want, rather than just assume and not meet those expectations, even though it might take some of the surprise, some of the charm out of it. And you know what? These questions, these things that I was talking about, they do apply to change in general. you know, I mentioned making the changes in yourself personally to bring about the change that you want to see in that situation in life. In life, we can do the same. I see a lot of times, people, when they're hurting, they focus in on what is immediately in front of them. They focus in on that pain that's right in front of their nose, the recent argument that they had, the separation that just recently happened, or the whatever pain that they're currently experiencing. They want to talk about that, and they want to address that problem right then and right there. And the problem is that these problems are a lot like weeds. We cut off the top of these problems. You know, when you go and mow the lawn, you cut off the top of these weeds, these problems, and they end up coming back. Sometimes they even spread and causing more problems. And it's not until we dig up the roots and address the real issues that real change starts to happen. And usually as a first step, just like with the issue with the holidays, like I said, the first step is usually about asking yourself, okay, what is it that I can influence? What is it that I can personally change about myself to address the problems at large? And too often we're focusing on what other people need to do and how they've hurt us and how they need to change without really taking a look at ourselves. And if you can do that, if you can see what you can change personally on a deep foundational level, big things can happen. I mean, this right here, the Thriving Marriage Group, the business that I'm running today is direct evidence of that. I mean, even upwards of about a year ago, I would never have been able to imagine myself talking to thousands of people in front of a camera and doing this sort of thing and venturing out on my own to run my own business. And yet here I am, because I looked and saw what I wanted, and I saw what I needed to change to make that happen, and I went about making that change. And because you're in this group, I know that you're capable of doing that too. Like I said, each and every one of you, I know that you're here because you're looking for those answers. You're looking for how to have that thriving marriage, which tells me that you're the kind of person that really looks deep, and you're the kind of person that looks for what you can do to change your circumstances. So I hope that helps. I hope that everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope everyone ignores their diet plans just for a little bit of time and really enjoys themselves, and not just, instead of worrying about all those little things, I hope you're all able to enjoy that comfort and warmth of being around the people that you love. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have anything that you want to address with this specifically, just leave it in the comments. I'll be around for the rest of the day, and I'd love to address any of those concerns with you. So once again, hope you have a good Thanksgiving, and hope to hear from you.